Okay, I want to trust that it is. 49 years old, and I realize as the older I get, I need to give myself reminders, like start recording, stupid. So that's what that was for. So life after life, right? What we're going to talk about today is what happens the moment you die. What happens after you move on before, after that too as well? What happens beforehand when you get here? And to start off, what I wanted to do was to have you go through a particular exercise to describe a few things to you. Let me make sure that I have this in the right place. Yeah, I did. Cool. Okay. So when you look at what happens after you die, one of the things I put in the description today is I wanted to give you an opportunity to find out what it's like. But every time I try to figure out how to type it, it sounds scary. Like, you will die today and get it. I was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. You will know exactly what it feels like to be on the other side. No, I ain't trying to say that either. Whatever, they're just gonna have to find out. So what I put down is I'm gonna give you a logical experience as well as a spiritual experience of what it is like after you finish this incarnation. Now in the chat, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to put that in. And then when we get to the discussion part, I'll look at that and we go back through. So there's a few basic things that I wanted to talk about. One of the basic things to understand is that what it looks like on the other side looks exactly like what it looks like here. We are used to seeing movies and TV where things are translucent and all, like it literally looks like it does on the other side. That's why a lot of people, when they die, they don't even know that they're dead. So there's a few things that I wanted to touch upon as topics to bring out that apparently I accidentally deleted. So I'm just going to bring it up. So the first thing that I would say is reincarnation. So reincarnation is the understanding that when we die, that there's more to us, that there's a spirit, an essence that's part of us. A great way of describing that would be to think of, let's say, an ocean, that God is like an ocean. If you take a drop of water out of that ocean and drop it into this cup right here, that it will be the same chemical makeup as the ocean. And then when life is over, if this is the body, that drop gets poured back into the ocean. That can happen again and again. So some of the things that we talk about with life after life, having a core basic understanding or belief in this area will make it so that things are a little bit easier to understand. So when you go over to the other side, one of the things that happens is that you have a reflection on the experiences that you went through. So I wanted to give everybody an opportunity of the type of reflection that you would have when you first pass over. So a light meditation. So nothing that we have with the music or binaural beats. All I want you to do is where you are to just think about some of the things that I'm going to bring up. And you may want to jot down some notes on this because you will be able to pull it out when you go through and meditate again. Don't have to, but maybe a good idea. So in terms of life questions, I want you to think about if you could ask 3 questions about any of these areas over here, what questions would you ask? Like you can ask God, you can ask universe, you can find the answers to 3 questions. And it could be about your current life, like what is, why is, how is. It could be a question about your purpose. It could be your question about a past challenge that you went through. What's that past challenge? Like, don't tell me, write it down, put it in your head. You may have a question about a relationship. Why did this person come into my life? Why did they leave? So we're going to get the answers to those 3 questions today. Current life, questions about life purpose, past challenge. Like I'll throw out some of the ones that I had for me when I went through this exercise. Current life, am I ahead of time? Am I right on time? Am I behind time? And where I'm supposed to be in my life? Life purpose, is there one overarching life purpose, or do I serve different purposes every day based on the people that I interact? What past challenge have I gone through that would serve me well right now? Or what past challenge was I unable to fix or solve or win? These were some of the things that came out for me. So now that you have your questions, what I want you to do is looking at these questions, because you could come up with anything you want to, right? Looking at these questions, are there any key themes that you notice? Is there a key theme? That's something we can hopefully have a discussion with some of you too, when we get to the discussion point. Like, do you notice that a theme around a past mess up of yours, or what someone did to you? Or do you notice something that you hope you aspire to? What is that overarching key theme that you see that comes out of the questions that you want answered? That's a core piece of who you are. Okay. Now, here's the next part. This part is really interesting too. So with your paper, jot down your supporting cast. You know, your life is like a movie. You have a hero. You have, hopefully you're the hero in your own movie. I'm the villain of my own movie. That kind of thing. But who's the supporting cast? Who are the people that are in your life that have had a major, major influence? Let's jot their names down, and then we'll go individually through them. So tell me about their character. So you put down mom, you put down boyfriend, you put down teacher, you put down boss, whoever it is. What was their character like? Were they funny? You have a lot of, were they serious people? Super smart? Were they religious, spiritual, humanitarian? Later, to answer your question too about where is everybody, most people are in the general vicinity of Northern Virginia, Baltimore, like I'm in Gaithersburg. And then we have some people like Shubham and Akil who are in India. So each week it varies, with the core being right here. What influence did they have in your life? How do you feel about them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Glad they came in your life? Not. So these thoughts that you're having now, this isn't something that we normally do on New Year's Eve. Like, hey, my New Year's resolution, let me sit down and do an analysis like this now. This is the type of stuff that happens when you're dead. This is what happens when you look back and say, who were the people that were in my lives? And some you forget because maybe it happened when you were 12 or 15 or 12 or 15 years ago. You just don't remember, but that incident had something to do overarching and guiding the direction that you went in. Like, you go one direction, you end up in jail. Go another direction, you end up having a fantastic life. Like life can just swivel just like that. So these questions, from a logical standpoint, I wanted to take you through because that's what will happen to you when you take a step over into the other side. Okay. So now, what I want you to do is now that we planted those seeds, let's have you sit in your seat in a comfortable position. We're going to do a light meditation, and I'm going to guide you through some images, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, as you close your eyes, take a deep breath in, exhale. Just feel yourself relaxing and tell yourself that you are in a relaxing state. And as you continue to inhale and exhale, I want you to imagine that you have an old photo album laying on your lap. Imagine that you have an old family photo album that's laying on your lap. In your mind's eye, I want you to think about what color is that photo album? What does it feel like? Now I want you to open up that photo album and go to a picture of you when you were 16 years old. See a picture of you when you were 16 years old. And in that picture, what are you wearing? Try not to joke yourself as it bell bottoms or wingtips. Notice what you were wearing. How do you feel about that outfit that you have on? Was it your favorite? Was it one that your mama used to make you put on? Look down at your shoes. What kind of shoes are you wearing or not wearing? Yeah. Now what I want you to do is in your mind's eye, reach and flip that photo album backwards some more and go to a picture of you when you are in the 4th grade. You're in the 4th grade. And looking at that picture of you, now what are you wearing? What environment are you in? Allow your mind to take in more memories and see if you can find yourself in the school that you were going to in the 4th grade. And where were you sitting in class? You may see your teacher, or your teacher's name may come to mind. Okay. Now, in your mind's eye, Take your hand and let's turn that photo album back again. This time to a picture of you, 3 years old. You're 3 years old. What does 3-year-old you look like? What do you find yourself doing? What interests you? What catches your attention most? Okay. Now, I want you to turn the photo album again, this time to a blank page, and notice that 3-year-old you, 4th grade you, 16-year-old you are all there. You see pictures of all three. And looking at all three, what's the same? Your clothes probably didn't stay the same. Your hair probably didn't stay the same. What aspect of you has always been the same? Great. Now, as you're able, slowly start to open your eyes and come back with the group. We are going to discuss that. Okay. So, the meditation that we're going to do later on that has binaural beats in it is so relaxing that I actually had to play with the audio so that we can adjust certain words being said to allow you to go deep into meditation, deep into trance, but not fall asleep. So doing a little break in this type of meditation, I wanted to throw that in there too, to kind of prepare you for moving forward. So I don't know about you all, but when I did that exercise, I love 3-year-old me. 3-year-old me had no worries, no care. It was just so different. I was like, I don't want to leave 3-year-old me. I want to just stay right there. So the questions that I asked, as you were going back and looking at yourself, and it's just such a fun exercise to do, right? The clothes that you had on, the hairstyles. Like I remember when I went into 7th grade, like since I'm the only child, no one told me that flyaway collars were no longer in. You needed button-down collars. So I had these big old wingtips. And when I told my mama, since we were poor, what she did was she took the buttons off the bottom of my shirt and sewed it to the top. So now my flyaways, because they were joking me at school, were all pinned down, but the collar was so big. So if I went running, it was like I'd take off gliding down the hallway. So when I was going back, I was seeing all of those clothes that I had on Those things change. What we put on, what we take off, they change. But it could be the glimmer in your eye. It could be the smile that you have that always has been there ever since you were a little girl or a little boy. So in each case, though, with baby you, teenage you, child you, there was more. So if you're more than the child version of you, more than the baby version of you, more than the teenage version of you, then we're more than the adult version of us as well. And this is what happens when you get to the point of life after life. You start looking at it from a comprehensive view. Right now, I'm having you close your eyes and those memories are coming to you. They come even more vividly when you are doing this type of review and reflection on the other side. Because once you leave from the other side and come over here, there's a certain amount of forgetting of who you are, especially the longer you stay here. So what I wanted to talk to you about was the moment that you are no more, the moment that you pass away or die. Now, what happens? What do you see? How does this all pull together? So far, we've been having kind of a logical discussion. So the emotional impact that you have had with this life. Some of us have had happy lives. Like, you know what? All in all, things have been kind of great. Others have been like, I don't know if I'm going to make it past tomorrow. Yesterday, I had messages from two people who were talking to me about having suicidal thoughts and wanting to leave the planet. So we're all on this planet, but we're all having different experiences. But whatever experience you have, like I hear people who say, man, this is my last go around because I am so tired of Earth, I cannot come back. Well, when you first leave, if you have had an emotional time, then there's going to be a certain period of restoration. It's something that's going to revive you depending on what your soul, what your spirit needs. But at the time of your death, that mood that you're in, like if you're coming from fear, and some people are, oh my God, I'm afraid I'm going to die. But that has an impact on you launching. And if I can give an analogy, it's similar to if I'm standing at the edge of a pool, I can be sheepish and put one toe in and kind of slide and slip on down in, or I can jump in, or I can dive off and start swimming. It has that type of impact. How you get in is not going to affect your entire experience in the pool, but it definitely can cause you to have less of a positive experience. That's one thing. The other thing is that when people first pass away, they experience a lifting up, like see yourself over your body. They talk about that. Not everyone, because everyone doesn't transition the same. But the majority of people talk about ascending up and being able to look down and having a 360-degree vision, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like what we have right now on Zoom, right? Except for maybe Kevin, because Kevin has the universe in the background. But the rest of us, we're able to see forward, and I'm able to see back, right? I'm able to see Muhammad Ali and back of me, full around, and of course, everything that's right here too. I think that would be kind of cool. But not everybody lifts up. Some people miss the bus. Some people stay here. And the people who stay here are normally either their belief structure was so strong that nothing exists beyond death, that they're still in that same spot, or they don't know that they pass away and are holding on to life. For some people, they are afraid of the people they left behind, that they may not be okay. So they hang out a little while longer just to ensure that things are all right. And then eventually they move forward. And something else too about the light. Normally people see a light, a tunnel, a star, a ball that's pulling them towards something. When I meditate, I normally see a tunnel that I can go into in order to get deeper in the meditation, in order to go to different places. So they're described as different things. But just as a point of view, for those of you who have a high spiritual background, I wanted to kind of go a little bit deeper here for a second and explain things in a way kind of like at a teacher's level, for a teacher to be able to teach someone else. So we're basically souls that come from God, the universe, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. For simplicity, I'm going to use the word God today. God, in all this infinite wisdom, made a decision to have direct experience with all experiences available in all of the different realities that it created. It wanted to experience everything. Just think about it. You're all by yourself, just you and nobody else. Well, what would you do? Well, in this particular case, God decided I'm going to experience creation at every single level, from a bird to an atom to a table, everything. So in order to do this, God came up with I think it's kind of an ingenious plan, where it decided to fragment itself into tiny pieces, which we call souls. Each soul is identical to the bigger piece of God. Kind of how I was talking about the ocean and the water. It's how people go to war over words. So I always try to be careful with words and say different kinds, because people have different connotations. But when someone says that they are God, I don't think they mean I am the God, the all-being God. But if you come from God, like my finger is me, I wouldn't say this is me, and then we have my finger. It's like it's all me. So each soul is identical to the bigger piece of God in some way. Just like how you look back at the three different yous, if I can say that, three different yous, essentially the baby you, 16-year-old you, fourth grade you, they were all you. But there was something about baby you that was the same as 16-year-old you. So all these souls were then distributed down through all the vibrational realities in existence to experience what is available within these different fields. So you can have people saying, life is like this, or the universe is like that, and everybody's arguing, and kind of everybody's right. So the universal law of attraction enables souls to attract to them a vast array of experiences through changing their vibrations. If you want a different life, change your vibration. And by vibration, I mean thoughts that you have, like the feeling that you have. Going into meditation, the table vibrates differently than, say, this cup of water. So earthbound souls do this changing of vibration through perception. So perception evokes emotion. Emotion impacts on the subconscious mind, and as a result, a shift in internal vibrations occur. This is why emotions are so important. This is why at the moment of your death, even the emotional impact that you have at that time is casting you on a certain trajectory. So emotions can heal you, or they can kill you. You have an emotion of stingy for decades, yeah, that sucker is going to manifest out of you physically. It can manifest out of you mentally. So you can either go crazy or go sick. But you're going to go somewhere if you are constantly harboring and holding these emotions that are just not a blessing, that are more of a curse. So it's each soul incarnated into the energy reality of their choice, of our choice, to gather the experiences available in that realm. In this realm, we're all here together. We're all here together. But we became a little less conscious. I think Miss Harris alluded to that earlier when she said, I awaken. She woke. So the lower the vibrational field, the more limiting it is. The lower the field, the more unaware the soul can become. There's some people that are messing around with some really dark, low energy and vibrations, and they're totally lost. No matter what you tell them, they're not going to be able to see their way out of it. So depending on where each individual soul exists will determine its ability to directly experience who and what it is, especially when they first pass over, because they need to be restored, revitalized, because of the way they lived their life and where they were at the time of them moving forward. Yeah, they're going through something a little bit different than everybody else. Okay. So, three things I want to cover with you. When you first die, some people talk about eventually after they go to the light, right? Whatever it is, a star, ball. They talk about getting to a place that's either like a park or a garden. It's somewhere really chill, laid back, relaxing. And apparently it is all up to you that your afterlife experience is customized based on you. It's not like a one size fit all. And in this area, the main purpose and goal is restoration. That if you had a long physical sickness before you died, well, then you need some type of restoration around that to get your energy levels back up. If you were afraid when you died, then you have someone, a guide, or an experience that will reassure you. It could very well be images of a place from Earth that made you feel at home and at ease. And your guides to talk about that. Oh, that's some good stuff. So we got some good chats going on. So guides, spiritual guides, angels, different cultures, different religions, Native Americans, all the guides, different things. But basically, it turns out to be three different types of guides. You have in ranking, like a junior, a senior, and then a master guide, like an ascended master, that based on your life, it's almost like a certification. So if you think things are going wrong, you may be wondering, my guardian angel may not be certified for this type of life. I need an upgrade. But I'm going to believe they don't make mistakes, and everyone is properly assigned. But from a junior, senior to a master ascendant level, I love that, because it's kind of like we're responsible for taking care of each other. Your guides can't even be born with you on this planet and be walking around with you. You can meet them and interact with them and never ever even know that they were your guides. I remember I went to James Madison University in Virginia, and I met a gentleman named Garrett. And I swear to this day that Garrett was an angel. Now, see him, feel him, touch him, went to school with us. But after the first year, I never saw Garrett again. And Garrett gave me a book that was originally a wood carving book. It was a book that somebody carved out in wood, only had images, and he had photocopied all the pages in this book. Still got on my bookshelf back there. And over the years, since going back to 1991, over the years, I could look at that book at different times in my life, and it had a huge impact too as well. So guides can be with you and interact with you. There really aren't any rules. We put the rules on, we put the boxes on. So their ultimate goal after you pass on is to help you connect with your soul self. help you get rejuvenated, restored, kind of get back to that original divine perfection that you were before you touched upon earth. Okay. And the next one, soul grouping. Soul grouping. Oh, this is going to be a meaty one. All right. I got it. Soul grouping. That involves things like a soulmate as well. So each soul grouping is full of souls that help and support each other. It's like a soul family. Like all of us could very well be in the same grouping, same soul family. There are no mistakes. I don't even think there's any strangers on the planet. We've all been reincarnated so many different times. We kind of know each other. And it's kind of amazing how this entire system kind of works and pulls together, especially around soul grouping. So all souls in all realities are linked back to God. That's like part of us that makes us all one, that light that's in us, that those people who pass away and they have the near-death experiences and they look down and they see a light, a beam connecting all the hearts together in the planet. So you do something good, you change the world. You raise the vibration. You do something bad, boom, it goes out to that light. You change the world. So yeah, every day, one person can change the world based on the energy and vibrations you're kicking out. So with all souls and all realities linked back to God, this linkage is a little like a chemistry chain. So you as a soul are part of a soul group or family. And it is this group of souls that enables us to all be connected together as we go. Okay. So the point of me bringing that up was as above, so below. It's just how we have families that we're born to with blood. We have spiritual and soul families from the other side. They either choose to be incarnated with us at some time or not. People who we may be hating on, like, this person is definitely the villain in my movie called Life. But it could have been someone that you were really tight with beforehand that decided to play that role for you in order for your soul to have the experience that it has. So what we're going to do now is have meditation. And the meditation that we have will give you an opportunity to have an experience with everything that we talked about, the questions that you had as you asked before. Never take anybody's word for it. Try to have your own experience. So I'm going to put the link to the meditation in the chat so everyone can go there. It's 27 minutes. Hey, Jane and Jerry, I just seen you guys now. Love you guys. Good to see you. So I just sent that link out to everyone so you can go there yourself. It's 27 minutes. And at the end of that meditation, you just come back here and we'll have a conversation. Now, I want to give you a heads up. I want to give you a heads up that this one is going to be a little different because what I decided to do was Shavasana, which is no more for yoga. Let me share this one so that we can see it. What I decided to do this time was a meditation. Shavasana is, if you ever did yoga, you're just laying down. It's like one of the most easiest positions to get into, but the most difficult for people to maintain. Because like, what should I be thinking about? What should I be doing? So I chose this because it's also called the corpse pose too as well, where you just lay down. And as you listen to this meditation, it's a guided meditation that you can either put your headphones on because it's binaural beats, so you can hear different things. And I think this is at the theta level, which is really deep. And every time I say the word Shavasana, there's going to be a change in the audio, not that regular rhythm, because I don't want you to fall asleep and just be knocked out of it. But when you get to the point where you're allowed or asked or guided to experience everything, that's where you can put your questions out. That's where you can ask anything you want about the afterlife. That's where you can do a review of your life right now. You don't have to wait until after uh, you're here and gone. You can do it right now and make any adjustments you want to. So I'm going to start this. And for those of you who have your video, you may want to turn your video off as you go in to meditate. And then once you finish, just come back here and we will begin again. I'm leaving the sound off because it'll sound bad coming through the system. That's why we put it on YouTube. But I will turn off my video and go through this meditation myself. And then we'll come back and have an open discussion and share our experiences across the board. So as you come back from meditation, free to turn your video on so we know you're back. Ms. Harris, I saw your comment earlier. You can comment anytime on the chat. If you have any questions, you can throw it in. We normally, and that's my bad, in that explaining the protocol better in the beginning. What we do is we everybody mutes, and then we have like a lecture part in the beginning, and then we go into meditation where we each listen to the YouTube channel. Some people hop off and then come back. Some people keep it on, but you know, they have their headphones on through their iPhone or what have you. And then when you come back, everybody has the opportunity to speak, which I have been noticing normally is Parvin. Parvin goes first because she has like another meeting she's going to. She's just super duper busy. And then we just open it up where we go around and it's kind of like a free discussion.
Okay. All right.
Cool. You're welcome. So I'm going to read through the chat, see if there's any questions, and open it up for anyone who wants to comment on anything in general, any questions about the lecture part, what we were talking about, or any experiences within the meditation, because I did it a little differently. Or if you just want to say boo, I can take it. I can take that too.
I have a question about spirit guides.
Sure.
So, you know, I've been on this journey for several years now, and I still cannot connect with my spirit guides, and that's really making me sad because I want to.
Okay. I'll open it up to everyone to see if anyone has any advice for her, and then I'll finish with mine if there's still a gap. The question is how to connect with your spirit guides. So I guess I'll jump in first. I went to the seminar, probably like around 2012, where they were talking about how do you know when your spiritual guides are talking to you, when it's not just you talking to yourself and stuff like that. And what they suggested was that you ask yourself a question, and that where that answer comes from, that's your spirit guide, that you just notice it. Like I can say, what time is it in China right now? If I get the first answer that comes to my mind, then I can go back and check and say, is that correct? Right? If I say, Alita, what did you have for breakfast yesterday? That answer comes from somewhere. It comes from here. It comes from here. It comes from somewhere. You start noticing where that answer comes from. Hone in on that. Something else. Somebody in that class said, "Well, what if it's just me telling myself something?" And the spiritual teacher of the class said, "Well, there must be a reason why you are telling you that." So listen to you. I'm really big on numerology. I like to look for synchronicity and the repetition of numbers, like 222, 333, 444. I find that on those in the spiritual realm, their ability to get our attention and make us look somewhere to notice the time at a particular time is pretty easier for them. And when that does happen and occur to you, just ask yourself, what was I thinking or what was I doing in the moment? And then you can always Google meaning of 222, meaning of 333. Anything that catches your eye and you wonder, is it a sign? Yes, it's a sign. As
Okay.
you stop second guessing yourself and going strictly off your intuition, you will find like a stream of consciousness that flows. I did improv stand up comedy. It was like improv business comedy in DC. And when I took that class, I thought they were going to teach me how to be funny. What they really taught you was how not to hold back, just let things flow. And when I went through and started doing those exercises, it's like it was a soft snap that happened in me. And my ability to be more psychic just flourished after that. When I no longer second guess, when I no longer wondered, is this a sign? You know, what message am I getting? Because it's not like there's a booming Alito Harris. You have
No,
to. It's not gonna come in like that. It's not gonna come in like that. But it's gonna be that voice that's in your head that's talking to you. It could be in colors that it communicates. You can go in meditation, you can ask your guides, because all of us have a spiritual guide. Some people have a whole bunch. Like I got a gang of people watching me. I can't do nothing wrong. This is like too many people watching. But all you have to do is go into meditation and say to your spiritual guides, please show me a sign when you're speaking to me. It could be a color, it could be a feeling, it could be a smell. I had a sister, adopted sister in India, that anytime Mary, like the mother of Jesus, came around her, she would smell roses right before she had an interaction with Mary. So yeah, just keep at it and try different things. But I find that if you just let your intentions be known, like you just saying outside, I'm having an issue understanding, your guys are going to be more tentative to that now.
Yeah, the word awareness comes to mind, Will, as I'm hearing you comment to you, Ms. Harris, because we're always being shown and spoken to, but we need to be aware, and that's kind of, I think that's what part of what Will is saying is just let go. You know, maybe you're pushing yourself too much, expecting that tone of voice of, well, we're talking to. It's not like that. Let yourself go and be aware, and you will find all kinds of guidance from lots of places you might not have ever thought of them.
okay. Thank you. I received that. Thank you. Mm.
Especially with you, I'm thinking numbers. I think you're going to find this upcoming week, the repetition of numbers will start coming to you a lot from a visual standpoint. And then from that visual, it's going to go to kinesthetic, where you started feeling things.
But you
Auditory, I
talk,
think, is going to take a while.
but you talk about repetition of numbers. The number that I see a lot is 615, which is my birthday. So 615. But you're saying it has to be 444, 555.
No, no.
Oh,
I'm definitely not saying it has to be that way. Any number that grabs your attention is meaningful, and all you have to do is just Google it, like 615. I was just like meaning of 615. 615
oh,
combines the attributes and energies of the number 6, 1, and 5. Number 6 symbolizes balance, stability. It goes right into it. So the question
okay.
is, what were you thinking about when you saw it? It could be that somebody's like, girl, you better remember where you come from because it's your birthday, right? Like you
Hmm.
got to get grounded. But the more you look, then you see. It may not be like, this is my lottery number. I got to play that. And it may not be this one particular. It could be just overall, this is your birthday. So what does your birthday mean to you? Does it mean a rejuvenation? Does it mean a reflection? Does it mean let's get this going? Because at the
A
end of
rebirth.
the day, what it means to you is a whole lot more than anything that somebody has on the internet. But this to help guide you. If you do meaning 615, and I also like, and I normally type Joanne because I like the way she lists out different things and giving you a breakdown. So all this information is right here for you.
You
Spiritual.
said Joanne, a list from Joanne. Here's a
Mhm.
list.
So I normally
Okay.
do meaning whatever the number is, and then type the word Joanne because
Okay.
Joanne's Sacred Scribes, I find is a
Um,
good place. So if I did like I love getting this vibration 333 Joanne because there's so many people on the internet that will give you information, and a lot of it is advertisement after advertisement after advertisement, and then you get to the spiritual lesson like, ooh, I'm broke now. I had to spend like $1,000 just to get this.
mhm.
So I
Right.
like her because it kind of
Okay.
she just jumps to it and breaks it.
Okay. Thanks. It's
You're welcome.
helpful.
Carvin, did you have some words that you wanted to say?
Sure. Well, I'm always very curious about the vibrational energy,
Mhm.
how to stay up and keep it positive. Actually, I received a message right now while I was meditating that I don't know how you pronounce Aleta. That
Alita.
answers a question too. And while I was meditating right now, answer came to me very simple. I think from my guidance because that was in my head. The question they said, anger, negativity, anger, fear, negativity of decreases the vibrational energy, which is a simple answer. I would totally forgot it, but it totally makes sense. So I said, okay, that answer came from my guidance. It was the best answer. It was not nonsense or anything. And and another thing is very important too. When we move on, we go other side. It's very important to have our high energy level, as Wills you said, to keep the high energy level, vibrational level. So I think meditation is very important to stay always focused, meditative, positive, because we never know when you're going to move on.
Right.
Or maybe if you're older, more you should meditate more. But I notice a lot of elderly friends I have, actually they're elderly, and all they're thinking is fear and negativity, which should be opposite. That's it.
So you
Good
think
job.
that affects their ability to transition? I wasn't following. You said when they have negativity, they're not able to receive.
You're on mute, Carvin. I think she was saying things like it, mostly you see the senior citizens are going to be in more pain. That the physical manifestation that they're going through, a lot of it can be because of the emotional trauma they've been subjecting to themselves over decades. And then the current state that they're in, instead of raising their vibrations up, like say someone wants a healing, that I would like to become physically better. Well, you can't have 1,000 pounds on your shoulder asking to be lifted up. You have to get that weight off of you. You have to tap into the love. You have to give someone a compliment. You have to have positive thoughts, read a positive book. If you're looking at Housewives of Atlanta, then that's not going to give you a positive vibration to go up. But I just love that show. If you're looking at orders all the time, yeah, it's kind of like, what are you feeding your soul to even give you the power to stand up and raise up? And to her point, she was saying the more you meditate, it's almost like the closer you get to spirit, the more you meditate, you can hear things differently. Like I am a feeler, I'm a kinesthetic person. So when I say I see something, I really don't see it. It's just that I feel it so strongly, it's like a visual image for me.
That's
And
how I do. I thought that was empathic. So that's, what did you call it? I haven't heard that word before.
kinesthetic. So there's three different ways in which people learn and communicate: auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. So kinesthetic is just a feeling way. And you have the clairs, right? When you want to
Yeah.
talk spiritual language, like clairvoyant, clairvoyant, clair cuckoo, clair boo boo. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you feel, what you see, what you hear. It's like we're used to experiencing this world with our senses. So if I can't taste it, see it, hear it, then it doesn't exist. Can't smell it. But in the spiritual world, something totally different.
Okay. But are you saying kinesthetic is the same as empathic, or are those two different things?
So an empath can be many, many different things. And there's a class that we did that's on the YouTube channel we just went that lists out all the different types of empaths and asks you what type of empath are you. Like you can be a plant empath, meaning that you feel and are able to communicate with plants. My mama used to talk to plants. I thought my mama was crazy. Now I'm walking around the house talking to my plants. You have an empath that is physically gifted, so that they're able to feel the emotions of people as they come by, as they go through an experience. There are like a ton of different empaths. In general, an empath means that I'm able to tap into someone else's experience. And it could be their emotions, it could be what they are physically feeling, it could be what they're thinking, could be what they're seeing.
Okay. Hmm.
Julianne, I see you. I'm sure your friends with you too. Could see you and Nana, yeah, and Dorji, Jang Chu. That seems like a new name for me. Joan, see you. Rozzy, I'm glad you're on this time, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Did you have a comment, Rozzy?
I'm an empath, so I feel energy of other people as well. So it's new to me. So I'm just trying to tune into it and, be able to understand the methods and what's the principle of, being able to read it and how to discharge it.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
negative
biggest thing
energy.
the biggest thing I would say with empaths that only concerns me, because I'm an empath, so I got mad love for empaths. But man, we can be the softest, wimpiest people in the world because nobody ever taught us how to put up our shield. So when Maddie's going through something, I feel Maddie's pain. Maddie's crying. I'm over here crying. We're both crying. Somebody needs to be able to put on a shield so that I can understand what she's going through and then guide her. And for the empaths, that could be something as simple as I started off using like Marvel Comics references, like flame on, like the torch. I would say flame on anytime I had to go out and speak. I would imagine just being surrounded by a bubble so that I could push out what I had to say, but didn't get any of the negative vibes. You can imagine a light shooting up from your heart through your head and circling you. The Moreau Institute technique that I learned from them when we went there to learn meditations, putting yourself in light and circles so nothing negative can get inside, because there's nothing stronger than love. So nothing. So a bubble of love can protect you from anybody. If you think there's a lot of haters throwing stuff your way, you can put that circle around your entire house, around your family, anything you want. Jerry, Jane, you guys have
Great
something?
advice.
Oh, thanks, Rosa. You on mute, Jerry.
Yes, hi, I will. Everybody, welcome. I wanted to say thank you, Parvin. Immediately after you brought that up, a message from your higher spirit, I thought that it probably had a reason for being there, not just for you or for Alita, but for all of us. I'm sure all of us thought about what message you received. It could have been for any one of us. I'm just saying. I myself said, gee, I needed to hear that again on a day like today. So think about it. You know, we are all connected. We are all one. And that was an excellent opportunity for your higher spirit to come through Parvin, who's very powerful meditator. So that's my message I wanted to say. Think about it. My first thought was, gee, I thought maybe that had been for me. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Going once, going twice.
How long have you all, I just feel so new to this. I feel like everybody's so much more spiritually evolved. I feel like I'm so new and
I'm on my 3rd week, so we're still babies in this, so don't worry about it.
No, you're right.
Okay.
We're all just gurus here.
For me, it's about 2 hours. 2 hours I've been at this. No, it's definitely not a race, and it's infinite amount. So anybody that thinks that they know a lot, they don't know anything, because it's infinite. You can constantly keep learning and growing. And just being around somebody else's energy, you learn. So I think that for us, some of it isn't like learning something new, but remembering something old that we already knew it from another life, from another experience. And then when you hear it, you just pick it up really, really, really quick. So if you were a baker and you started baking, and then all of a sudden this new recipe, you were able to just kick it out and make it even better. Well, that's not because you just learned that recipe. It was something inside of you that you just knew. Feeling comfortable enough to talk and ask questions around us. I mean, your first time, probably because we're all used to each other from another time, from another place. So yeah, definitely don't. Me personally, I got on this path in 2012. I was head of global sales training with Motorola. Grew up Pentecostal, was a child preacher at 9, and then went a different route, got in a fraternity.
which one?
Phi Beta Sigma.
Hello, brother. I'm a Phi Beta
Delta.
Sigma as well.
All right, Blue Phi, you know.
And
So life takes you down different paths, but we always get there where we need to. Because I think that in this life, a leader has a lesson that she needs to learn, or someone that she needs to help. And as long as that gets done under whatever name, Christian, Baptist, Catholic, Hindu, nothing. At the end of the day, there was something that you needed to accomplish, to learn, to experience, to get before you get up out of here. As long as you do that, then cool. Every now and then we can get some extra points. Like I wasn't meant to do all of this, but hey, I can, and I did. So yeah, you're in
but
that place you're
go ahead.
supposed to.
I'm trying to be, and I don't want to monopolize the time. I didn't see a whole bunch of other questions, so I'm gonna jump in here before we get off. Another issue that I feel that I've been blessed. When you talk about the other side and transitioning, a lot of my loved ones are still here. I have not had a lot of loss, and I'm blessed and thankful for that. But I find that when spirits come through, it's hard for me to connect. I don't have that person on the other side to help me shift. Do you have any advice on that, or to receive messages? Do you have any insight on that?
So a few things, and anybody else after I finish, please feel free to jump into. The first is that if you're looking at mediumship within the USA, then they use evidence mediumship, meaning that when you go see a medium and a spirit comes to them, they are going to say, this person looks this way, this person died this way, this person is this and that. And then you verify you know them. But if everybody's lying, you like, Larry, Larry's still alive. Larry could have just called me. I didn't have to pay $100 to hear from Larry. He could have just called me. But if you don't have anyone that has passed away that you know of, you have been here so many times. You have ancestors, you have tons of guides that will come to give you guidance. But that medium, if they're not in that mindset of understanding because they have been trained to prove that they're not fake. But sometimes you got to get past that, okay, I know who it is, and just figure out what's the quality of the message that's coming to me. I never care who is delivering it. I judge the message. Because if Uncle Larry was stupid when he was alive, Uncle Larry's gonna still be stupid. So I'm just gonna listen to the quality. Just being dead don't make you like, ooh, now you're a doctorate of dead. So you listen to the quality of the message that's coming from you, see if you can apply it. You can also ask the medium to ask, who are you? Where's this coming from? And you may realize that if you have a particular drawing to, you pull towards the Asian culture, or you pull towards a particular place in the world like Greece, that maybe sometime you were born there or you lived there, or you look at certain art and it touches you in a certain way from a particular culture. These are all signs of your past, and they're also signs of where you have guides to help you. So I'm very happy that all your people are still alive though. Yes, was that Christine? Yeah.
Yes, Will. In terms of like mediumship, I ran across, there's something called the Shift Network. And there's a woman named Susan Giesman, who she does teach mediumship at Monroe, and she is connected with Lily Dale. But on this, and she has her own website and everything, but on the Shift Network, there's a course that she teaches in mediumship.
What was her name?
Giesman, Geissemann, I think. And it was like, I got it, I don't know how it showed up in my, it's like I got it for 100, I think it's $200, but it's very useful. And she's a good place to start if you're interested in learning about mediumship. Because she's written some books and she's very, very, very strong, positive presence.
Okay, I wrote that down. Thank you.
So how does deja vu usually play in people's lives?
Great question. Anybody want to jump in and answer that for him? How does deja vu normally play in anyone's life? Has anybody ever had deja vu?
I get it a lot.
Oh, sure.
Maybe you're repeating yourself.
Well, it feels like you're almost in a bubble because, I mean, I met this individual last week for a job interview. And after I left the job interview and I got to thinking, I said, well, you know, that's what I did sometime before. I got off at the same bus stop, sat at the same place, spoke to the same person and had the same discussion. And I said, this is kind of wow, you know. And after that, I said, when I think back, we never went any further than that. And which is true, you know.
Yeah.
Or I could look at TV shows and I can predict, you know, what's happened next, just like I saw it before it was being aired. And it's just crazy.
But that part kind of sucks. I wouldn't want that part of the gift. It's like, hey, keep that part secret. But deja vu, Rozzy, dreams are phenomenal. And we dream so much every night, everybody, even the people that say, I can't remember my dreams. Well, you're still having them. So you can dream of something that's going to happen in the future, and it's your higher self preparing you for what happens. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. It's just like mediumship. If they tell you something in the future, it's just that if things stay the same as they are progressing in the same way, this will be the outcome, like a GPS. If I'm looking at the GPS and it says if I'm going east, I'll eventually hit California. But at any time, I can run out of gas, I can decide to turn right. So the deja vu moments that you have are normally because it's something that you have dreamed of. And just like meditating, when you become better at remembering your dreams, like Jane, Jerry, and I were all part of this group where we were focusing on our dreams in order to empower us to be able to have astral body travel. And remember, because it's tapping into the same skills you need for out-of-body experience, it's the same for dreams. Every night we die, we just come back. When you dream, it's just like you going to another place, except for there's a time limit, we're coming back. So I think that's what's going on, Rosie, with your dreams. And if that happens to you a lot, I would suggest start keeping a notebook by your bed, because when you wake up, every time you physically move, the piece of the dream vanishes and goes away. So you stay still when you first wake up, grab hold to your last memory, and then once you have a solid grab on it, then you start writing it down. You can plant the intention before you go to sleep and say, my intention is to remember my dreams, and you start doing it more. You can set your alarm clock for 2:22 a.m. Just to wake you up briefly with your notepad, so you can jot down what you remember and then go back to sleep, so you don't just wake up at the end of the cycle long after the dreams were over. But you should play around with that, because if that's happening to you a lot, then that's like a tool, a superpower that you can tap into and do extremely well with it. Even holding on to the last thought before you go to sleep. If you want to dream about someone, or you have answers to a problem you want, hold on to that as long as you can before you go to sleep, and that will come up in your dream.
Because I'm I'm not sure if, I don't know if it's really a dream, because I mean, I can tell you another experience. I met this lady, we went to school together, and we met at the same dollar store. We were talking about the same thing. She was saying she had an issue, she needed to get a keypad for one of her cars, and I told her where she can get it. We went to a Burger King, and there was this white guy sitting beside us. He was, I guess, listening to the conversation. He just suggested the same things about, he said, maybe you should get farmers insurance to do this, to lower your car insurance and everything like that. I had that experience like 3 times in a row, meeting the same lady, same place. And I realized that the second time, I said, didn't we have this conversation before? And, she doesn't remember, but, it happened like a third time. And I'm just like, wow. I said, I feel like I'm in a bubble, and I'm supposed to do something and I'm not doing it, or maybe I should do something different to break it.
Well, you and I probably should talk on the side about that, because listening to you now, that sounds like something else other than the deja vu. For instance, there are some people who speak about the timeline shifting and being different. Like, you can Google the Star Wars line, Luke, I am your father. For some people growing up, they remember that. And then for other people, they remember something totally different. And it's just a long list of different things. And I'm like, no, that wasn't the case. It was some other way. So Schumann Resonance, which is something that we're going to be looking at and talking about in future classes too as well. But
isn't that quantum leaping? Quantum leaping? What he's doing is quantum leaping.
Well, first of all, I love that show. That was a great show. I think I cried.
Yeah, I love it too.
Great show. But it's kind of like that. It's just basically, if it's happening, it's just different timelines are rolling out and happening. I give you, for instance, there's right here. There's a guy called Transurfing Realities. He wrote a book about that, where if basically saying that somewhere in the universe there's billionaire Will Harris, and then there's trailer park Will Harris. And if I say, I know, look at Maddie's face. She's like, what? I know, it's hard for me to believe there's a trailer park Will Harris somewhere in this universe too. Hope it's a small universe. But if I want to be billionaire Will Harris and I start manifesting that, then I'm pulling that reality into this one. So that means certain timelines are probably going to have to shift so that I hit billionaire Will Harris versus, going the opposite direction, a trailer park Will Harris. So depending on what Rosie's trying to manifest in his life, if we pray for something, like, I really want this, well, that needs to change in order for this to get here. But just hit me up. And
Okay,
we
I
talk
will.
about
Why y'all gotta
Appreciate it.
talk on the side? Why can't we all learn about that?
only because I try to be conscious to everybody's time, and we were really scheduled to end 29 minutes ago. Everyone
I
might not be
appreciate that.
interested in this. So, cool. Any other comments before we end? Ellie, seeing you said something.
I have another
Shanaz?
question too.
Mhm.
Since we're both frat brothers, do the other brothers know your abilities? Because I would like to share some with mine, but because we all have different energies and different personalities, sometimes it could be a negative instead of a positive when we're in a group.
Yeah. So my LBs know what's up with me. But at larger than that, I would say no. I normally try to
Okay.
talk to people at the place and level they're at. If you're down with Jesus, I'm talking to you from that space. If you're down with Krishna, if you're down with humanitarianism, I'm normally meeting people where they are and not just talking freely. I just try to help people based on what I know. And that can come out in a variety of different ways without me adding a label to something and saying this is where it came from. But also, I don't suffer fools long, and I don't believe in convincing nobody or nothing. Either
That's me.
you're down with it or you're not. And I find that the people who need help normally somehow or another they gravitate to me and where I am. But
Appreciate
don't be
that.
out. But don't be at no conclave saying, "Look, I'm gonna set up my
Oh
spiritual psychic."
no.
That ain't gonna work out.
No way.
But I tried to bring it up with my sorority sisters in my chapter, and it didn't go well. I'm labeled as the weirdo, just spirituality. So
Yeah. Well, it's just
bugging.
it really comes down to more and more people are changing and adjusting as time goes on. And no matter how good you feel about what you're doing, it's always good to kind of do a test to see where other people are. Because this lifetime, it may not be meant for them to have that type of understanding. So I don't even get mad at them. I used to, but now I know. A little different.
Well, I agree with that because I know one of my frat brothers, when we was going through, the pledging process, and before I knew I was an empath, I read one of the brothers, and I kept telling him, "This is a true brother in terms of what he's putting out there because he's not putting on a show for us. This is really part of his personality." And he kept saying, "Oh, no, 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 that's not true. That's not true." And my spirit kept saying, "Oh, I'm telling you, it is true. Oh, no, no, no. You're just reading it all wrong. He's just doing it just for us." And I said to myself, I was right. After I found out, and I, kept going back over it. And that was really his personality.
Yeah. I believe in trusting your instincts and intuition. So now, you were going to say something or
Yes,
ask?
thank you so much. It was fantastic. Everything was great. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It's related. I'm a little bit, because there were many discussions. Hopefully it's not too unrelated. Let me take this one and talk. I can hear better. Okay. I go back to what you said about going back to your album when you're 16 and 4 grader and 3. When I was 3 years old, first of all, this is my first meditation and gathering for after death. I had many near death experiences to participate. Not I didn't have any myself, but when you said that, something came to my mind and I wanted to share. I hope it's related. That my 3 years when I turned 3 was an amazing year of my life. And I remember everything from that age. Like when I turned 3, my brother, which was 3 years younger than me, he was born. And with his birth, like I was born as well. I always had that feeling. That's how was my link with him. And he was an amazing person. He showed me the whole beauty of the world, you know, all around the world, everywhere. And he was a great, loving person. And he passed away in 2007. And losing him, the date he was going, I was in the bed, you know, he was in Rome, and he had this more smart kind of cancer, you know. That's what they doctor, because his doctor told him, you are very clever and smart, or you got the smartest one as well. So I was with him in the hospital, and his wife, one night me, one night his wife, staying with him for 5.5 months. And the day he was leaving, you know, they sedated him, you know, and it was a hard process, but still he was helping everyone then. The early morning that he was leaving, I heard and felt the archangel outside of the window. Like I was passing with him. I even heard his wing was touching the glass of the window. So I mean, it was like yesterday. And he came, and he was waiting for the right moment. I become ready for that, because I was not ready. My brother was sedated, you know, he was gone. So I don't know. I don't know how can I think that it says something which I don't get it, maybe, you know, but I just wanted to share it with you, you know. What do you see there? I mean, and when I lost him, I was ready to go too. You know, I had two children, but I went to hospital many times, and I was in emergencies all the time. And as soon as I get to the hospital, I was happy, because I thought I'm leaving too, you know. That was my relation, my contact with him. But then I became, you know, someone told me, maybe God, maybe my higher soul told me, no, you're so selfish. You have 2 children, you're responsible for them. So eventually I worked on myself to come back to the world, you know. So it's like 13 years now, this past. And still my life changed, you know. It changed a lot. So I try to put this together, but, you know, I don't know what to say. And now that you said it today, something like came to my mind again, like deja vu or whatever you call it, that maybe I should share that.
Well, I'm definitely glad you did. Nothing that you said surprises me. Some things you said I haven't heard before, but I think that's part of us having group discussion for us to learn from each other and learn about what's possible. Because if you've never seen anything before or even thought about it, when those things are mentioned, it's kind of like your brain expands to a level that it wasn't at before. I guess I can justify and then maybe suggest. I can justify what you experienced based on you being really close to your brother and knowing that you had a pretty strong spiritual connection, because just when you were a kid and me knowing you had gone through a lot of things in general. So you had the ability of sight beyond normal sight, and then compound that with someone that you feel really close with and one with, then that might have been something that they were hoping you saw in order to make things easier for you to progress on, to know that nothing bad was going to happen to him, that he was going to be very well protected. If you still have a longing and missing for your brother, best way I can explain it is, it's like we have a cup of water. The water that's in here can go from water to ice to steam. It's all still there. It's just a matter of us being able to deal with it in the different forms that it takes. If we lose someone, and when someone dies, it doesn't mean like, oh, I can never see him before. My grandmother comes and visits me all the time, and I get a little feeling on the back of my neck, or if others are around, and sometimes I have to even put out, hey, You guys need to chill because it's kind of freaking me out a little bit, or it tickles. So just because someone moves forward, if anything, we should be able to communicate and be with them more because they no longer have that limitation of their body, of that mindset. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had a reading and one of my relatives came through who said, I didn't believe in this when I was there, but now it's like, yeah, I know, I get it. So if my suggestion to you is if you still miss your brother, if there's some type of pain that you're still trying to get over, or if there's a guilt over you wanting him to be here, let that guilt go. Everything that happens to you in life, you're meant to have that experience so we can learn. And sometimes it's just learn not to do it again, but we shouldn't have that experience and still pull from that past pain to beat ourselves up. So forgive yourself. And you can do that by going into meditation. And when you meditate, call to your brother for his spirit to come. And when you feel or see or know that your brother is there, then say to him, I love you. Please forgive me for any of the emotions I had with your departure. Please forgive me if I made you worry about me. I am doing fine. I know you're doing fine. And please work overtime as my guardian angel. And I think if you do that and you say, and now until we meet again, I send you away with love and peace. And when you wake up, you're going to probably feel overall better. And that's something like a releasing situation that anybody can do that's harboring something in their heart that's intangible, that you can't put your hand on it, but you surely know it's there, that it's irking. It's that you go into meditation and you face it. There's some things we can face in the spiritual world that we couldn't face right here. Maybe somebody I want to say something to, but I just can't. But even if we don't talk anymore, I can very easily say, so-and-so, I want to talk to you, and the spirit of so-and-so will come here, and then you can have that conversation with them and something gets rectified. Even when people pass away, they still learn. Our relatives come by and they hang out and they look over your shoulder, Shanaz, because they want to learn from you. Even this class, they're learning. So the thought process that just because someone has passed on, that they have evolved into being the all-enlightened being now, they learn a little bit slower than being in this realm. That's why we chose to be here. We can learn quicker, but they still learn and grow from us too. Okay.
You know that show called Tyler the Medium? You know how he talks to people who have passed over?
No,
Have you seen that before?
I've seen the Long Island medium though.
Who's that?
I'm guessing probably saying it's a lady from Long Island. She's a medium.
Oh, well, this is a young guy, and he has the ability to talk to people who have passed over. And a lot of times what I discovered as I watched the show, when he's trying to connect with some people that might be relevant to the people who he's giving the reading to, I can type into him as well, and I can see the images of the people before he even give a description of it. So I just thought that's kind of wild too. And it's sometimes it gets scary because I don't want that energy. I don't know if it's possible for it to come through the TV and come to me. And then I have all these people trying to talk to me like he does, and I don't know how to shut it off.
Start with the power button.
Okay.
Thank you.
I always wanted that. I didn't have that. Like if I see someone else doing a reading and I try to look, like I don't see nobody up in here that they see. But again, Rosie, and I think we had talked about this before. The shield, right? You can put on, and any gift that you have, you can refuse. It's not like something that's pushed upon you. Any gift that you have, you can refuse. Just like any future that someone predicts for you, you can reject that. I had a medium, more than one, tell me that I was going to get kidney stones. Like in the same period of time, too, I reject them both. I reject that, and I'm going to drink me some more water just to help out. Cool. Well, all right, everyone. With that, I'm going to say peace out. and go kick it with the fam. I'm a little hungry too. I appreciate all of you. Next Sunday, we're going to be talking about auras and how to see auras, how to feel auras, how to brighten your aura. And I'm probably going to do a meditation utilizing the third eye as well. So that should be kind of cool. Go to YouTube channel, click like on the video, leave a comment on the meetup so we can keep spreading the positivity and see our group expand in 2021. And as always, you guys need me, just email me or hit me up. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great
Bye,
show.
Maddie. Next time, don't talk so much. Maddie, just
You
talk
know
all
what?
the damn time.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.